take a guess that most of the people who are here today may have heard me talk a little bit about art therapy. And for anyone who hasn't, I'm just going to say a little bit before we get started. And as we're settling in, just make sure you have your paper and some kind of art material close by, because we're going to get started here in just a few moments. My name is Amber. I am an art therapist and a counselor here in Santa Fe. I've been doing this for about 8 years now. And yeah, I'm also a practicing artist as well as a therapist. So just thinking about what is art therapy. I think art is something that we've used for thousands of years to express ourselves, to communicate, to share stories, to share a part of ourselves with another person. It's a universal language that we all have, right? It's part of our history. Art therapy specifically gives us tools to express how we're feeling about something, or even how we're thinking about something, or remembering something in a different way that doesn't ask us to just rely on our words or understanding. And a couple of things that are really important for me to remind everyone: you don't have to be an artist to do art therapy. You cannot do this wrong. There's no right or wrong way to do art therapy. It really is about the process and not the product. And sometimes you are going to get something that, when you're done, looks really good. And that definitely the focus is about just creating some time that is for you, that is quiet, and that you can just kind of sit down with yourself and explore something in a really different way. I think that's about all I'm going to say about what art therapy is, and let's get into the doing of it. So today we're going to make a roadmap to the future. So the way that what I was thinking about before I came up with this directive was COVID, and that we all have been in this together for over a year. Among other things that have been going on in the past year and a half, and maybe more for some of you. And we're kind of in this transition period right now, collectively. And there are a lot of changes that we're all facing, and uncertainty of what is the future going to look like? What is the new normal? And I think all of us have a different relationship with change and transition. Some of us love change and we embrace it, we welcome it. And some of us are like, no, I don't want to change. I want everything to stay the same. We can, really want to just avoid it. So this map to the future, what I was thinking is, it can be really helpful for us to intentionally think about, where do I want to be? So I was then kind of thinking about my Google map. And when I want to go somewhere, there are a couple of really important things. Where am I? Where am I starting? What is my destination? And then what is the route? So we're going to kind of be thinking about creating a map for ourselves, kind of embracing this next year. So whatever your relationship with change is, like putting it down on paper and exploring it, thinking about what's ahead, can help us be more successful in getting towards the desired future that we'd really like to be living in. So one thing to just remember, as always, this is not group therapy. So what's really different about that is we don't continue this process with each other. And that said, I would definitely encourage any of you who are interested to just spend a little bit of time when we're done journaling, just kind of reflecting on what just happened. So now that I've said a bunch of words, let's take a second. Hopefully you have your art materials and you're comfortable. And if you're not, just make any adjustments. Just to take a couple of moments to settle. Wherever you've been, even just this morning, whether it's been really busy or really quiet, but just to invite all parts of you to kind of be present here in this moment. sitting in your chair or on your couch. And if it feels helpful to close your eyes, we'll just do that for a few moments. And if that doesn't feel comfortable for you this morning, even just thinking about relaxing your gaze. Let yourself really start to feel the weight of your body pressing down into the chair. And just starting to hear the sound of my voice, the sound in your room or outside your window. And then turn your attention to your breath. And you're not needing to change anything about the way that you're breathing, but even just beginning to notice the breath coming in through your nose, your mouth, and coming out. And start to notice where you feel other parts of your body kind of moving with that breath. Maybe you feel that in the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. Or maybe you even notice, oh, my shoulders are very tight. Your neck, any movements, sometimes just breathing on purpose. And kind of let the body, hey, how you doing down there? And notice our mind loves to wander. That's what it wants to do. And if that's something that's hard for you, and you'd like to try something different, we can really train the mind to shift its focus back to the experience of breathing. All right. So if your mind is wandering, you're thinking about a to-do list or laundry or groceries, whatever it is, like pause. And can you invite all of your attention to just be present right now with this next breath? And if it feels good, to join me in 3 deep belly breaths before we begin the art part of today's experience. So just take a breath for nothing, in and out through the nose or mouth. And then on your next breath in, think about that breath moving down into your belly and up and out. In and down into your belly. And up and out, nice and slow. And one more. In and down into your belly. And really let this one go. All right, let's get started. So first things first, we've got to get our paper ready because we're going to be working in 3 sections today. So I want you to turn your page so it's in a landscape. So the longest side is parallel to the ground, right? And what you'll see here is I folded my paper into 3 sections. These do want to do it in once and then fold that over the top. So you've got like this pamphlet. Yeah. And just make sure that you have 3 equal-ish sections. And I want you to pick one side. We're going to leave the middle blank until the very end. So we're going to be working on, you get to choose. Right side, left side, doesn't matter. But where we're going to be starting is on either side. Okay. So the first thing that we want to think about when we're making a map is where are we starting from? So when we're doing this particular experience, this is about where you are in this moment. So I want you to just kind of take a second to reflect on that question. Where am I right now? Where is my head, my heart, my physical body? Right? And there are, try to really let go of like I should be, or I would be, or This is not about the shoulda, woulda, coulda. This is like, where am I right now? And as much as you can, don't censor or edit this starting point because we want to get an accurate starting point, right? That's a really important part of a map. So, as much as you can, to just be honest about how you're feeling, how you're thinking about yourself in this moment. Because the more accurate your map is, the more likely you are to get to your destination. So, thinking about, where am I? If I could visualize that, create an image using color, shape, line, symbol. And remember, there's no right or wrong here. It's just trying to get an accurate reflection and image of where I am in this moment right now. And then when you're ready, grab your materials, use one side of the paper and create an image of where am I right now. This is your starting point of the map. I'm going to put a little bit of background music on and we'll do this for about 12 or so minutes. So let's just take another minute, kind of find a good place to pause if you're still working. okay. So remember, one of the things that is also different about doing it in this format is that, when if we were in a session or in a group, we would spend more time on each part of this process. So if you're not finished, no worries. You can come back to this when we're done, um, and just keep working and making changes as you need to. So now we're going to move into the second part, which is what's the destination? So just got my starting point, and now we're going to be working on the opposite side. We're going to leave this middle blank till the end. So now we're moving to the other side, the opposite side of your starting point, and we're going to be working on the destination. So just take a second and kind of think about, for the purposes of today, I thought, let's just do a year. And where would you like to be in a year from now? That can be a place, a physical place, an emotional place, a physical place with your body, or living in a new place. Where would you like to be, and how would you like to feel? What would you like to be doing? So this is what I would invite you to do, is really let your imagination play, as if there were no limits, no restrictions to what your life in 1 year could look like. You know? What would your dreamiest, yummiest life sound like? What would it feel like? What would it look like? What would you look like and feel like? And really let yourself kind of let go of it needing to be something that is realistic, right? Just let your heart and let your belly kind of talk to you, like, ooh, I'd really like fill in the blank. When you feel connected to that, moving to the opposite side of the paper, right? I want you to create an image of what you would like your life to look like, feel like, sound like in a year from now. And just let your imagination go here. No right or wrong. And if it takes a second for you to figure that out, then it takes a second for you to figure that out. Sometimes just starting with some color and line is a good place to start. And we'll do this for about 10 or 12 minutes, and I'll put some background music on again. Mm-hmm. Okay, and let's find a good place to pause. The destination part of your image. So now we're going to move into the last section of our paper. So you got the starting, the destination. I needed more room for my destination. I was a little bit limited on my starting point, I realized, which is accurate. So now we're going to move into the middle part. So we know where we're starting. We have an idea of where we're going. There's a really important part there. How do we get from where we are to where we want to be? What's our route? So here's some things just to kind of think about. What are the changes that need to happen between now and a year from now? And these can be any changes, again, physical, emotional, tools, resources, anything. What are the changes that need to happen in you and out in your world to get you from where you are to where you want to be? And I want you to include those changes. Think of this middle section as like my map from here to there. This is my itinerary, if you will. Okay. So in the same way, anyone who's ever taken a planner, even if you're not a planner, you need to know where to stop to get gas. You need to know where the food is. You need to know where the rest areas are. You need to, or it might be fun to think about places where you can just pause and kind of take in the view, right? So using that middle section, I also want you to think about what are going to be the really important kind of road stops, the assistant places, the gas stations, if you will, right? The places where you can fuel up, rest, recharge, learn some things. Are there going to be some challenges along the way? What would that stop look like on your map? So we're thinking about how we're going to get from here to a year from now and include those places on your journey to support you getting there, support the changes that need to happen between then and now. And this part might change a lot over the next year. That's okay. We're just starting to think about, what do I need to do? What are the places I need along the way from here to a year from now? And this will be the last part of the creative process. Put some music back on. Remember, you can't do this wrong. You can always make changes later if you need to. right, so start to let yourself come to a place to pause for now. I always like to ask people to just take a moment to pause and kind of look at your image and just notice how your body reacts to it. And there might be nothing, there might be like, wow, I feel more tense or I feel more tight or I'm curious. Whatever it is, just even noticing in this moment right now, like, how does my belly feel when I look at this image? What happened to my breath looking at this? Curious about is noticing if at any point making this, if there was one part that was particularly difficult, and to be curious about that. What made but the starting point hard? Is it hard for me to really know how I'm doing? Is it hard for me to, you know, tell myself the truth of how I'm doing? If how I'm doing doesn't feel great, um, is it hard for me to think about the future? Because it can feel hard to think about the future that feels good if our particular starting point is hard. And that's okay. This isn't about having a perfect map. This is just about inviting some time to just kind of be quiet and sit with yourself and think about what you want in a different way. So, if you want to continue, so, just kind of using myself as an example, there's a lot of just symbols here. I knew what I was thinking about as I was coloring them in. I'm a big fan of specific, concrete behaviors. What was this route for you? And if you want to just spend a little bit of time journaling about it, and if something isn't broken down into a concrete behavior, if someone can't see or hear you doing something, what would they see or hear you doing in that particular part of your journey? Right. So, like a good example is um, let's see, this eyeball is giving myself time to just vision. Okay, so what does that mean to me? Carving out 5 minutes every day to journal about big ideas. That's a concrete, observable behavior that is an action step towards my desired future, right? So, kind of break down some of these things if they're not specific and think of them through the lens of what would someone see or hear me do when I'm doing this action, when I'm taking that step on the journey. Um, Other questions? Anything on here surprise you? And what was surprising about the thing that you in this image? Um, how do you feel when you look at this? Is there anything else that I need to add, whether it's about my right now or the what I'd love a year from now, or maybe it's really hard for me to think about those small baby steps towards the future that I desire. Who do I need to become to fulfill the intentions in my life? Right? There's no right or wrong answer here. What qualities might you need to develop this year to get from here to there? And just overall, what have you learned from doing this kind of a map, this visioning, if you will? So those are just a few prompts if you want to take this a little bit further and break the journey down into daily things that you could do. Break it down into weekly things and also reward yourself along the way. When you're doing the work, to stop and notice, wow, I did that. I actually did that thing that I wrote down on my map. And take a moment to acknowledge that too, because that's super important and motivating to keep going when we're doing something hard. that is the end of the experience today. And we have just a minute left if anyone has a question. I just want to say thank you every time. This is so cool to be able to share this experience with you. And, you know, you can feel really good about showing up and trying something new if this is something new for you to do. And if there are no questions.
Thank you very much. This was really helpful and wonderful.
Oh,
and inspiring.
Dorothy, could you turn your sound on?
I did. Can you not hear me?
Oh,
Weird.
there's a mute button on the bottom left-hand corner.
I'm not muted.
Yeah, I hear Dorothy. Can you hear me, Amber?
Yeah.
If you have any questions for me, I do have, you can reach me, santafearttherapy.org if you have any questions or just a follow-up. I do respond to emails every week. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Take really good care of yourselves. If you have a moment to go outside and enjoy some sunshine without the wind, enjoy the rest of this beautiful Saturday. Thank you, Santa Fe Library, for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amber.
Thank you very much.